I'm walking up towards the dining room to meet a former volunteer here in Givat Chaim Murad. His name is Carsten. And here he is. This must be... Hello, Carsten. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine.
This is Carsten. Sorry, I don't remember your surname.
Ditlevsen.
And you're from Denmark?
Denmark, yes.
Denmark. And when were you here as a volunteer?
I came here in October 85. And I stayed until the summer of 86 for between 8 and 9 months.
Wow.
But it was not my first time in Israel. I was here in 82 for a training camp in Tel Aviv and got interested in the country, and then I came back.
So when you came back here, did you come via the Danish Kibbutz organization, Dakiv?
Yeah, I came by Dakiv because I tried to get into a kibbutz by myself, but it was difficult because so many Scandinavians want to go to kibbutzim. And then I got an organized tour.
Yeah.
We came 20 all together. And then I was here for 8 or 9 months.
And where did you work here in the kibbutz?
In the beginning in Pradesh.
Hold on, remind me, what year was that?
In 85.
85. Where was I? I was in the army then. Okay, so we never met.
No.
Okay.
And
no, I wasn't in the army. I was abroad. I was an envoy representing the kibbutz movement abroad in England.
Okay,
yeah.
So I worked we did the turkeys, we did the pades, oranges, lemons.
Yeah.
And then after 3 or 4 months, I started working in Refit.
In the cowshed with the milking parlour.
Yeah. And I worked there for the rest of the period. And then I went home in the summer of 86. And then the year after, I arrived again in October 87.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, I might not want to work in Refit. Because you know, these early mornings you have to wake up 3:15 and go milking.
Well, you know, 3 milkings a day?
Yeah, 3 milkings a day.
Yeah.
Early morning, afternoon and in the evening. And then I met the manager of Refit in the dining hall after 2 days.
Who was the manager then? Do you remember?
I think his name was Gabi. And then he said, you have to come and work with me. And then I worked for the rest of the period in Refit, and I liked it very much. And then I left the kibbutz in May 88, but went to another kibbutz.
Which kibbutz?
Kibbutz Na'an.
And what did you do in Na'an?
In Na'an, I was on an ulpan for 5 months.
The ulpan is the Hebrew course.
The Hebrew course, yes.
Yeah.
And actually, when I came here the first time, already after 1 month, I asked Shula Heims, which was the volunteer organizer at that time.
Yes, I remember Shula. She was a lovely woman.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And I asked if, by the way, I could learn some Hebrew. And then I went to a lady, I think it was Polish, Clara.
Clara, yeah. Okay.
Who taught me, and another Dane. She was Jewish, I'm not Jewish. So we started to learn Hebrew. And then when I came here the second time, after being here a few months, I said, well, if I have to be here for a longer period, then I might as well start to learn more Hebrew. And I asked Shula if it was possible, and she made a letter of recommendation for me. And I went up to Jerusalem, I think in December, January or something like that. And a few months later I got a letter that they have accepted me for an ulpan, and I was going to Na'an. And would say that was a great experience because I got to know it very well.
So I'm here with Carsten, who has come to visit Wartime Moorgaard, and this is the first time we're meeting. So nice to see you. Carsten, by the way, got in touch with me because he's a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Now, tell me, Carsten, you visited here a few times.
Yeah.
Again, when were you here for the first time as a volunteer?
I came in October of '85.
Yeah.
And I came with a group from Kharkiv, which was the Danish Kibbutz organization.
Yes.
And they send around 1,000 volunteers to Israel every year. And I came with a Danish group. We were 20 people. And we were quite surprised because we were living in Danish quarter and realized that there has been many days before us living here. And it was a different feeling than, of course, coming today. You were arriving in a country, it's hot in the evening, it was in October, and you were in a small room. And there were so many people here at the time, Vietnamese volunteers,
yes,
that we were 4 guys in one room, which was very close.
They were small rooms. A line of a sort of a precast concrete building.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy your volunteer experience?
Well, there was a good experience. Of course, I had been in Israel before. I was here in '82 for 3 weeks, not in a kibbutz, but for a training camp in Tel Aviv, doing kayaks. And I had got visitors in Denmark from Israel for 3 weeks during a summer holiday, a young guy. And we have been connected for a few years. And I also visited him again when I was here in '85. And then we lost connection because at that time we had a little notebook and you're writing in your address and you try to send letters. And contact is not like today's social media where you are.
Today's technology is instant communication.
But and then I stayed here until the summer of '86. As I started working in the oranges and was a little on the factory, came in the turkey sheds in the morning when we have to ship out turkeys. So
that was a terrible job.
That was the most terrible job you could ever imagine.
I didn't have to imagine. We, the members also, we took our turns to load the turkeys. I think we took 1 turkey in each hand. I mean, and they weighed about maybe 5, 7, 8 kilos.
Some of them even 10, I think. It was huge ones, and it was smelly, and there was like shit everywhere because they are flapping with the wings, and it was
and also the ammonia, the smell, and the way it got into your eyes.
Yeah.
And you were grabbing them by the legs and holding them upside down, and occasionally a leg would break. Not your leg, their legs.
It was. So I did a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
And like after 3 or 4 months, I started working in Refit, the cow sheds. And I was there until the end of my stay.
So you became a professional milker?
More or less. I was actually promoted to be the first milker.
Ah, very good.
And so I even could do the night shifts, or late evening shift, with 2 other ones from the kibbutz.
I see.
And that was a good experience because that was, of course, it was like, I think we had like 650 cows to milk in the carousel, which was, I think it was 28 cows going around for about a few minutes, 5-7 minutes or something like that.
It was a carousel with no music.
No music.
Not like a circus carousel.
And it was a good experience. Of course, I worked there for a long period, and got to know both the people I worked with and also many different volunteers and young people. And I remember on the evening shifts, there was one who has to do a kibbutznik, has to do it 1 week a year, doing the milking or do something else. And
Well, my eldest stepson, he works in the cow sheds now.
yeah. In the morning, it's long days. Sometimes you work morning and evening shifts.
Yeah.
And on the second day, I met Gabi. I think his first name was Gabi in the dining hall, and said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm here. You have to come and work with me tomorrow."
Okay, so your reputation already went ahead of you.
Yeah. And then I stayed there for 7 months around. And then I left for another kibbutz. I came to Kibbutz Na'an and doing the Ulpan, the Hebrew course for future immigrants. I'm not Jewish, so I was not an immigrant, but I was given this course by the Jewish, foundation, whatever it's called.
The Jewish agency.
Jewish agency.
I'll let you into a secret.
Yeah.
I was one of the national Ulpan managers.
And when I came there, I was put to work with in the factory and somewhere else. And then I went to Refed and said, "Do you have any job for me here?" Because I didn't work on a factory. And I remember, I think his name was Shaul. He was a manager in Refed in Na'an. And said, "I've been working in Kibbutz for more than a year total." And he said, "You have to come to work with me tomorrow."
Okay. Were there any life lessons you learned from your time in the kibbutz?
Yeah. First of all, you met a lot of people. You learned this community, which is different now, but at that time, everybody got the same. The housing was according to how many children you did have.
Yes.
And
like here in my house here, this is my living room and kitchenette and me. And this area that you can see here, this was all we had then. And this area where you can see the library over there was in fact the bathroom. And it was a little bit smaller. There was a wall here that was our bedroom, and there still is my bedroom over there. And the house ended where the library is. Nowadays, behind that library, there is a closed door and the other half of my house, which was extended. And now I've given half of my house to evacuees from Kibbutz Kvaram on the Gaza border. Anyway, so this brings us to today. What's the date? November? December 26th. I wish I knew where I was. December the 26th, which I think is about day 83 of the war with Hamas. And let me jump right into your feeling as a former volunteer and your feeling of what is the reaction in Denmark, both in Denmark and your own feelings to what happened here on October the 7th?
I got a message on Facebook that terrible morning on the 7th of October from a friend living near Hod HaSharon.
In the center of the country.
Yeah. And she was writing, "I'm running to the shelter in my pink pajamas." And I turned on the Israeli television because I can understand some Hebrew. Terrorists driving around in Sderot. And I was here also in Israel last Christmas holiday. And I actually visited Sderot